Hey everybody, this is En route, and today I have a video for you. So I am stopped at a stop here because I just want people to genuinely take in and consider the absolute devastation that has happened in Hawaii, and realize that entire families were burned to death. Some people's remains are probably not even going to be able to be identifiable because of how bad everything happened and how quickly it all happened. Now, when you look at aerial imagery, you're starting to realize that this was not natural. I don't care what anybody says. This was not natural, and the devastation is great, but the way that it went about burning things was very odd. You know, you see some trees perfectly intact right next to a bunch of stuff that's burnt. It's very poignant in the places that got crisped. And just so I can elaborate a little bit more about the poignant thing is that I forgot to mention this when I was making the video, but it's a very, very, very big point. Is when you were getting an aerial view of the devastation, you would see some homes surrounded by other burnt to a crisp homes, perfectly intact, unscathed. And it's just kind of weird. And I know a lot of those images haven't popped up, but I saw like a aerial view of, I don't know if it was a drone or a helicopter going over an area, and there was this like one single house that wasn't affected in this entire huge diameter of devastation or whatever. And I just want to, make that point that, it does not seem like it was natural, just the way that everything was burning. And I want people to understand that the response time to actually help anybody out was incredibly weak. And the fact that conveniently in one of the areas where the blaze was the most heavy, there was no water, and one of the water things, where the firefighter, the hydrants or whatever, there was no water in it for some reason. So the fire hydrant, no water. Great timing, right? Perfect time to not have any water available in one of the more important fire hydrants, right? And let's just take into consideration that we are in one of the most humid environments on Earth, because Japan just ignites on fire all the time, right? The thing is that there's a lot of weird coincidences around this, and the thing is that they're very messy about how they're going about this. I was just watching Squirrel Tribe's video, and she was talking about how like people are being approached by like property management companies about buying their property, and how that there's already contracts to have like certain, like a big smart city or something built there or whatever. And hey, she did the research on it or whatever. You should go check out her channel. But that's, more or less that. My point of the matter is what people need to understand as American citizens is that you should be very, very, very scared and worried about what they're doing, what our government is being allowed to do to the country right now. And no, I'm not trying to fearmonger anyone. This is actually serious. Joe Biden has really just, he's just non-local. Like, where the fuck is he? Like, what is he doing, you know?
Come talk about the Hawaii response, Mr. President.
And I'm just really upset right now because I was thinking about this and I was just like, wow, like, people genuinely just burned to death. Like, I just want people to understand, like, how horrific this whole thing was. Like, it's disgusting how horrible this was. Like, I'm very, very worried for the next few months, because it seems as though, even though this was just done like in such a weird way, that they feel that it's a good enough job for them to just go on with life and just deal with it. There are like 1,000 or more people missing. There's thousands of people missing still, and they may not even be able to find these bodies. And just the way certain things, like, there was something about how certain things got burnt to like a degree that a wildfire would never even be able to get to. You know what I'm saying? Like in the 2,000 degrees of temperatures, while wildfires are somewhere around like 1,000 degrees or something like that. And it's just, I don't know what to make of it, but I know something is very fishy. I know that us as Americans, we unfortunately don't understand that we're going to have, everything is going to be on us to create the systems and the response units and things like that are going to actually be able to have the training to handle these situations. And, you know, no slack to the people that are out there trying their best to help a lot of these Hawaiians who have been dealing with the devastation. It's really hard doing that job. But the way we just kind of like, I don't know, just something's not right how we handled it. I was about to like finish up my video, and this video from Wristflex's channel came out. And this girl that is actually in Hawaii, she's talking about some of the stuff going on right now. So I want to play some of this video for you guys so you can understand the gravity of the situation.
From response crews that they are tagging hundreds of bodies. There are hundreds of bodies in the water. The death toll could be well over 400 just at this very point that
She reported this like 4 days ago, and the media is just starting to say now that maybe 100 died.
They are not letting coverage into Lahaina. We have friends that went to the entrance of the poly to try to bring generators and water and supplies, shovels, things. Everyone was turned around.
No
one is able to bring
You're not letting help in.
We have thousands of volunteers that want to get into Lahaina and bring assistance for people. And we are not allowed to. And we are not allowed to go help them. Why? Why are we turning down help? Why would FEMA do that? Why would the Red Cross do that?
Whoa! Someone on the island right here, you seeing it, claiming that FEMA and Red Cross.
Oh my God.
Maybe know our answer.
And so, yeah, this is what I'm talking about, those FEMA
There's
camps
trees
and
in
those
Lahaina
holding
that are
facilities,
still
exactly
standing,
what I was talking about.
and
Oh
buildings
my
are
God. And this
vaporized.
was earlier too, so this is
I don't know if you
freaky.
know about direct energy weapons, but
Yep,
I would say
it's
that
Mountain
it's very
Dew.
much a
It's
blessing.
Mountain Dew.
This is what's happened on
They came in and they took control.
FEMA and
There
Red
were
Cross.
trees standing and the buildings gone. This system, this weather system came in from the mountains, from the east. That does not happen. They were not telling people anything. They were not letting people in to help. And they were letting people go in to get burned alive. There were people burning alive in the streets. There were people dead in the water. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of people that died. What they're telling you in the news is not true, and I lived it firsthand.
So yeah, definitely check out the full video on Risk Flex's YouTube. It's incredible what is not being told. The amount of information that's being kept away from us, suppressed. This is the kind of information that we all need to understand and know about, because if it can be suppressed so easily in such a well-known place, then who's to say it can't happen in your city next? You know, these things are important, and they do deserve a lot of attention. Something's not right how we handled it, and that we let so many people die. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, maybe you do understand, but a lot of people don't understand how big this is. Like, they're making this seem very small because they do not want to alarm you. You know, you say 43 people dead, and, you know, sadly, most people are not as alarmed as if you say 1,000 people have been dead. They said like over 1,000 people have been unaccounted for. But you know, and especially for watching that video of that young girl who's actually there, she was saying, yeah, they're not telling you guys the truth. There was hundreds of bodies floating in the water. The devastation is insane. People are just finding people's remains in burnt cars, and it's just this is on another level of evil. This is on another level of evil. And we need to figure out what side we stand on, what side of the fence you're on, because shit is going to get real. More, you see how the people are literally, they can't even fucking afford anything anymore. After you pay all your bills, like, you hear people having like what, $8 for the rest of the week till their next paycheck, because after they have to pay everything else and put money aside for other things, blah blah blah. It's like, what is going on right now is not sustainable. Okay, I highly recommend people buy silver, because there is going to be an economic downpour in a bad way that has never been seen in our history. This is going to be a first. This is going to be a first for everybody. Like, people think, people made it through the Great Depression. People made it through 2008. People made it through the 70s. People that had to deal with the devastation from the 70s, where the gas lines were huge and everybody's thinking that was the end of the world. There are people from that time where everybody thought it was just the end, that are saying that this is actually starting to seem a lot worse than it was in the 70s, and it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down. So that whole thing, that horrible thing that happened in the 70s, whatever that was, those people are now saying that this is actually turning out to look like it's going to be a lot worse. And the worst part about it is that people today are just not as equipped for survival as we were back then. So this is going to be pretty rough. And I don't even think what happened in the 70s is the same reason, because this is all being done on purpose. It's actually being ripped apart and broken down on purpose. So they're breaking this country apart. That is literally their MO, to break this country apart. And the fact that we are not having political debates before electing an official president this 2024 is insane to me. I can't even believe that Americans are allowing this to happen. We should be enraged that there is no political election happening right now. We should be enraged. Like, political debates. I mean, we should be enraged that there are no political debates scheduled right now. Like, what are we? 4 or 5 months from 2024? What the hell? What? How are people going to really be able to properly choose a president? I am incredibly worried for everybody. And, you know, it's that calm, you know, before the storm, where it's like, yeah, we're suffering, but, you know, it's still all right. But then you start noticing more and more families on the street, more and more people on the street. And the thing is that a lot of these people, they may not stay on the street for long. They might actually get put into camps, you know. And as many years ago, they were talking about like all these camps that were being built and how like all these mass graves were being made. And like, I don't even know if I can even talk about this shit on YouTube, but I'm just going to talk about it anyways, because hopefully my cadence isn't really, you know, that easily detected by AI. But I don't know, you know. The point of the matter is that there's some operations and some shit and like things like that are being built that look like holding facilities essentially, and there's just it's everything is being planned. Okay, it's not they're putting down the infrastructure before they go off and do whatever they're gonna do. Okay, and the thing is that like I'm just worried. I'm worried because I know that people are kind of complacent in general. People are they're complacent, right? But I guess I'm just not ready to be traumatized to that degree, because I'm already traumatized by life already. And, you know, at this point, I feel like we are at war. Like, for real. Like, just because there isn't like bombs coming down off the sky doesn't mean shit. We are at war, and before it gets dirty like that, we have to start assembling as communities, as people, as Americans. We have to, something's got to give, something's got to change. These governments can't just keep taking over the whole world and destroying it. Just being so destructive, as if there's no consequences for their actions. I don't know what to do right now, because, you know, I don't have that wide of an influencer audience. But man, you know, what does need to happen is we need to get some order, some planning. You know, we need to assemble. We need to, you know, have community talks. We need to actually start hearing people's voices, hearing people's stories, understanding different perspectives, and creating things and systems in place so that we can start making actual change. But it's really difficult to do that when everybody's scrounging around and scrambling to pay rent and groceries and gas. That's very difficult, and that's the whole point. It's the rat race. They want it to make it impossible for you to get your head out of water, so you can't see or have any control over what's actually happening and going on. So that by the time you do get your head out of that hole and you look around and see what's happening, it's already too late. Your hands are tied. And that's what they want. I highly recommend you buy silver. I highly, highly, highly recommend you buy silver. It is not, things are not going to get better. They are breaking the country. It's not going to get better. They're purposely breaking the country. It doesn't matter if you know, Trump steps up in office. It's going to be a battle. it's going to be more of a battle because the thing is that it's not just America that's involved. It's the whole entire globalist community from all these other countries. It's not like it's just America. Because the thing is that if it was just America, then that would be totally different. That would be totally different, be way easier. This is global. Okay, this is becoming a global issue, right? America is that last domino that needs to drop so that they can actually roll out everything that they want to do because of what we stand for. What we stand for, our ideologies, everything that we stand for is going to be broken down and changed and twisted and defiled in ways that we don't even understand. Oh wait, freedom of everything is not freedom at all, right? And so then it becomes to the point where things will get out of hand and they say, oh, here, we'll give you a hand, and then they'll take all of their control back, all their peace back. They just keep creating more and more, what is it called, like disasters, so that they can keep taking away more and more of our freedoms. They keep just some of the things that we are allowed. It's like we're allowing ourselves to eat the forbidden fruit, and we've gone way too far. Like, we really ate that forbidden fruit. Like, we're just doing too much. We're doing too much, and it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable in any world. It's not sustainable. America has to wake up. Every motherfucking person in this country needs to go and buy a gun and go to a shooting range, and we need to start showing people that are afraid of guns that they're actually a good thing, that they're good for you. Because the thing is that if you're somebody who doesn't believe in guns and someone with a gun comes and holds you hostage, you're gonna believe in guns after that. You're gonna believe in guns after that. You're gonna believe. And whether or not you make it out alive or not in that situation, you're gonna believe in guns. Because it doesn't matter how you think it's not good or this or that. What happens when the country is unable to defend themselves is they start having to make rig shift like Molotov cocktails, and then they get sprayed by their governments because their government has all the weapons. I mean, just look at the Tiananmen Square massacre. That's what happens. That's what happens when the government has full control. And man, this video, I mean, I've said a lot. I probably too much, but I don't care. I don't care. This is our country falling apart, and not enough people give a shit. Not enough people give a shit to a degree that actually matters, to a degree that actually makes a change. We all need to have a unified front. We all need to be in agreement as Americans, okay? It doesn't matter what your sexuality is at the end of the day. If you can't feed yourself, what matters? What matters? What does it matter what sexual orientation you are if you can't feed yourself? You can't have an orientation if you're dead. Yeah. I'm not going down without a fight. And I hope I have other people that feel the same.